In today's video, I'll be talking about a piece written by a woman in which she basically laments and points out how men are now overreacting to the fact that we're starting to avoid women in the office and other settings as a result of the Me Too movement. According to an article titled, "Men Now Avoid Women at Work, Further Proof We're Being Penalized for Me Too," this tendency is a result of women being targeted in response to the Me Too movement. She believes that new study reveals that males are following Mike Pence's lead. The Me Too movement may have made some women feel deceived. This article claims that Mike Pence is a true trendsetter. The Vice President of the United States reportedly won't have supper by himself with a woman who isn't his wife. The working males of corporate America seem to be attempting to imitate him right now. They are acting in order to safeguard themselves. According to a recent study that will appear in the journal Organizational Dynamics, men are substantially less willing to connect with their female employees as a direct effect of the Me Too movement. The findings show that over a quarter of men workers refrain from having direct talks with their female counterparts. According to a poll, at least 1/3 of males would feel awkward being with a woman by themselves. With the current state of affairs, you should be presumed guilty until proven innocent. God forbid there be even the slightest accusation, much less an overreaction. According to 21% of the males in the poll, they would be less inclined to hire a woman for a job that frequently required face-to-face interaction, like traveling for business. The vast majority of men are reluctant to hire a really attractive woman. Researchers who had asked the same questions in early 2018, just before Me Too was in full swing, collected data on workers from a number of businesses in early 2019, and regrettably, it looks that things have become worse since then. According to one survey, men and women are now 15% and 21% less inclined, respectively, to hire women for positions requiring deep interpersonal interactions. Since it is the way things have developed, I can't say that I hold the men responsible. Because of what has transpired, men are taking measures. They'd fear losing their jobs if they are wrongfully accused for something they had nothing to do with. As of right now, we don't think it's worth our time. Sadly, such is the case in reality. This article explains why we are so wary of women, because everyone is terrified of them. The fact that women seem to be employing other women is even more fascinating. In the 2018 research, more than 10% of both men and women stated they weren't as willing to hire physically attractive women as they formerly had been. Furthermore noteworthy is the absence of the 2019 female results at the moment. Internalized misogyny is becoming more commonplace. The grey zones in the Me Too movement have received a lot of attention. For guys, the whole harassment issue is challenging. We are educated on the subject because harassment is a modern idea that no one is familiar with. Even if someone was only kidding about with a coworker, they can be mistakenly accused of harassment. Each person is mostly accountable for their own achievement. Again, men could unintentionally say something insulting and then find themselves hauled into HR and threatened with dismissal. According to the report, many men are hesitant to even shake a woman's hand for fear that she would see it as harassment. If you can avoid it, avoid any contact with women at all. This study is fascinating since it completely disproves the myth that males are unaware of what behaviors are unacceptable. Researchers first examined 19 distinct behaviors to elicit opinions on whether or not something constitutes harassment, such as sending a subordinate pornographic jokes through SMS. The definition of harassment was essentially the same for both sexes. Furthermore, it is asserted that the majority of people are aware of what harassment is. Leanne Atwater, a professor at the University of Houston and co-author of the study, claims that it is mostly untrue that males are unaware of their inappropriate behavior and that women exaggerate little issues. Women are actually growing more accepting of the behavior as a result of redefining harassment in their own terms. The majority of men can distinguish between a warm embrace and a scary one. They are quite aware of the boundaries between civil discussion and harassing behavior, and they do not cross them. So why do so many guys feel awkward approaching female employees is a legitimate issue. I believe that the majority of guys should be able to distinguish between a warm embrace and a creepy one. We are, nonetheless, presumed to be guilty unless proven innocent. Regrettably, nothing will get better until it gets worse. You can't always please women, but I'm talking about this piece to help you understand what this woman is thinking. According to her, many men are more upset that something awful has to happen to them than they are terrified of being accused of wrongdoing. They are very furious about that. We were forced to deal with the power dynamics that people often take for granted because they were in doubt. When women reject their advances, they are also punished. Clearly, this is not the case. We men don't because we don't want to take the chance of losing our jobs or being sued. In my perspective, the article in the Harvard Business Review that previews the 2019 study's conclusions is accurate, and the Me Too reaction is to blame. The idiom is commonly employed. However, the additional context shows that Me Too has overstepped its bounds. The response was anticipated. It's another instance when the victim is blamed. To quietly remind women of their status in society is one tactic. Anything you do in life will always elicit some sort of response, whether favorable or unfavorable. There are limits to feminism. Men are tired of it, to put it frankly. Men are now taking the MGTOW pill, the red pill, and other revolution-related pills. It is the consequence of the present system. Women will respond in a specific manner if we are able to achieve these things. It is obvious that the Me Too movement demands a reaction as a result. That's all for today on Manhood. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons, and also click on the notification bell to be the first to know when I drop a new video. If you find value in my videos, you can show your support through PayPal or Cash App. The links are in the description. See you next time. Cheers.